Welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're taking a look at Assetto Corsa Competizione, and we've got some advanced tips for you that'll make you a better driver overall. We're diving into trail braking, throttle and steering technique, and we'll analyze the benefits of all these things on a TrackTitan platform. And be sure to subscribe for weekly sim racing guides that have helped thousands of sim racers get faster already. As the name trail braking suggests, it's about trailing off the brakes. Instead of using your brake pedal like an on and off switch, you're actually coming off the brakes gradually. Let's take a look at this example. We get on the brakes real hard while we're in a straight line and we have all the grip available for straight line braking. But the moment we start turning in, we gently come off the brakes because grip is now used for both slowing down and turning into the corner. Now that we know exactly what trail braking looks like, we can answer why it's so effective. First of all, it enables us to brake somewhat later because we extend our braking zone into the corner. Secondly, you keep the weight of the car over the front tires, which gives them more grip and makes them more successful at turning. You can see the effects of trail braking beautifully in this TrackTitan analysis. The orange car isn't trail braking while the blue car is. We see that our trail braking car is gradually coming off the brakes, while the orange car is releasing the brake pedal quite suddenly. Because of this, the balance of the car shifts from front to the back, robbing the front tires of their grip. You can test out TrackTitan for a month when you sign up using promo code ANALYZEACC. And be sure to practice trail braking because it can be a little difficult when you start out, but it's a surefire way to get faster throughout almost every corner. So there's a lot to gain by trail braking if you aren't doing it already. The throttle pedal is a cruel mistress to please in ACC. In some cars you need to be very delicate or the balance of the car is disturbed, while other cars can handle their fair share of roughness. Proper throttle technique can make you a ton faster when you've got the hang of it. One of the most common mistakes people make is getting on the throttle too early. Even though they gradually increase the power and don't spin out, getting on the power too early is making them slower overall. When you're in a corner, your front tires need all their grip for turning. When you start to accelerate, the weight is shifted to the back of the car, which results in less grippy front tires. And this understeer will cause you to slow down later in the corner if you don't want to overshoot it. But later in the corner is actually the part in which you want to be accelerating for the straight afterwards. By having a little more patience and keeping your foot off the throttle pedal for a little longer, you can start accelerating out of the corner faster than when you'd experience understeer. Let's analyze the difference in this TrackTitan analysis. Again, we see the slower car in orange and the faster one in blue. As you can see in the throttle analysis, the orange car is getting on the throttle earlier, trying to keep the speed high, but they have to come off of it because they're experiencing understeer. All the while, the blue car is patient and gets on the throttle just a tad later, but they can gradually build up speed and run onto the following straight with much more speed. Getting on the power at precisely the right moment is a difficult task and requires a lot of practice. But TrackTitan could help you a bunch to find that sweet spot where you should start accelerating. Steering is something that's often underestimated. Sadly, it isn't as simple as turn the wheel more to turn harder. Now let's talk about one of the biggest steering problems first, understeer. We've just talked about how you can cause it by accelerating too early in a corner. But you've also got to think about what you're doing with your steering wheel if you don't want to make it worse. A lot of people steer in more when they experience understeer, which is a very natural reaction, but this will only make things worse. The car isn't turning as much as you like because of lack of grip in the front tires. Think of grip as being on a budget. You've spent the whole grip budget on turning the car at a certain speed. If you turn the steering wheel even more now, you're gonna be spending grip that you don't have and you'll end up in the red. So steering in even more will cause your tires to heat up, have a smaller grip budget, which means you'll experience understeer even earlier. If you continue to steer too much while your tires are heating up, you'll wear them out faster and you'd end up in a vicious cycle of not having enough grip, steering too much, and having even less grip, making you steer even more, which is not productive at all. So the best solution to understeer is to let off the gas a little bit, so your front tires have some breathing room and are supplied with some more grip. Now that we've talked about understeer, we'll talk about his big brother as well, oversteer. We're going to talk about two types of oversteer, on corner entry and on corner exit. Let's focus on oversteer and corner exits first, because it's the easiest to solve. When you're coming out of a corner, you want to accelerate as much as possible, but speeding up shifts the weight of the car to the rear, which means your front tires will have a tiny grip budget. This makes your steering very loose. And combine this with the potential wheel spin and your car turns into a rodeo horse and you're just a passenger. So how do you deal with this oversteer? Well, getting on the throttle gradually when you're not in a straight line will ensure that your tires have enough grip for acceleration and turning. Turn-in oversteer is a little harder to solve, and there are several reasons why you might struggle with oversteering as you turn in. The main reason though is staying on the brakes too heavily, too deep into the corner. By combining the cornering and the braking forces, the weight of your car starts to pivot around your front tires, which causes you to go into a spin. This problem can be solved by learning how to trail brake properly. Because trail braking gradually rebalances the car after turning in, you're less likely to spin because of a loose rear end. Now let's conclude the video by going over all the main points once more. Trail braking is a technique where you brake hard in a straight line and gradually let go of the brake pedal as you start turning into the corner. This allows you to brake later and carry more speed through the corner. Getting on the throttle too early in a corner can kill your grip, heat up your tires, and cause massive understeer, which is why it's important to be patient and get on the throttle at the right time. You can fix oversteer on corner entry by trail braking properly so that the balance of the car is not disturbed. And you can fix oversteer on corner exit by being more gradual on the throttle. Remember that it's all a balancing act of grip for braking, turning, and accelerating. We hope you've learned something from today's video. If you have any tips of your own, let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one.